Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
Hey, it's Tim. So, the great Episode 8 debate rages on online. Love it or hate it, it's all people seem to be talking about. Well, the negative comments, the dark side of this divide, they're starting to get to me. It's been bringing me down, and it hasn't really changed my mind on the film, but this negativity, it's just so... blah. So, I was going to use today's episode to reply to the haters, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, no, I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to get involved in the mud and the muck of fandom. In fact, it was my pal Ryan Dassing, who was the guest on the last episode of Less Than 12 Parsecs, who set me on the right path. When I told him all the hubbub was bumming me out, he advised me to ignore it and to my own self be true. Deep stuff from a wise man. So, instead of going to the dark, I'm going to turn to the light. And today's show is about something in Star Wars that has made me happy recently. Something totally unconnected to The Last Jedi. I mean, The Last Jedi did make me happy, but this is something else. If you're like me, you fell in love with Star Wars as a child, and I kind of bet you did. In fact, I've never met a person who said, I did not like Star Wars as a child. It wasn't until I matured into adulthood that I began to really enjoy the films. With this in mind, I hope you can understand why I love Star Wars stories geared towards kids. They tend to be light and adventurous, and they very often do a good job of distilling Star Wars down to its basic essence. Recently, I read the aptly named Star Wars Adventures comics, and I found that they are the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Huh? Now, I know I've been doing a lot of reviews on the show lately, a lot of my gut reactions, but this was never meant to be the intent of Less Than 12 Parsecs, but still, please bear with me one more time. The Star Wars Adventures comic is not published by Marvel Comics, but by IDW instead. I'm curious to know the reasoning behind this, but I'm just too lazy to look it up. There have been 4 issues so far, so you can easily catch up. If you're looking for a great stocking stuffer for the under 12 Star Wars fan in your life, head out to your local comic book shop and track these down now. Each issue consists of 2 stories that range in eras from the prequels to the sequels, and even the standalone films. Interesting side note, in issue 3 there's a K2SO story co-written by Alan Tudyk himself. Yeah, check it out, it's pretty cool. Now some of the stories are one and done, and others are 2-parters that continue from issue to issue. And the second story in each issue uses a very interesting framing device. These are stories being told by a young Emil Graf, who's the grandson of Milo Graf, a character from the Adventures in Wild Space Junior novels that were released last year, first in the UK and then in the US. Emil is aboard his ship, the Star Herald, with his droids BB-00, aka Boo, and CR-8R, aka Crater, and his pet Kowakian monkey lizard Nani. And they're off exploring and charting wild space. Emil comes off as wise beyond his years because he always has a story to tell that shares a lesson that relates to whatever mischief his shipmates are getting into. And these stories always involve characters that we know and love from the films. Part of me wonders, since these are stories that Emil has collected, as he says in the comics, are they legit canon or are they legends in the Star Wars galaxy? Like the stories told in the Legends of Luke Skywalker novel by Ken Liu. Liao? Sorry, I'm horrible with names. Something to ponder. Anyway, I'm not one to let the status of a story, be it canon or legends, get in my way of enjoying a well-written, well-told Star Wars tale. If it's a good story, I enjoy it. Simple as that. And you know what? I really enjoy this comic series. It's fun, it's fast, it has a great, clean, bright, artistic style that it's not overly cartoony, and it's fun. Did I mention it's fun? I love fun! This is fun! Fun! So, if you like simple, exciting, adventurous adventures that are pure Star Wars, or you have a youngling in your life that does, then I highly recommend you check out Star Wars Adventures, published by IDW. Well, there you go, that felt good. That cleared my palate of all the ugliness I've seen online this week. And this is the last I will ever speak of that topic again. So, have you read the Star Wars Adventures from IDW yet? If so, what did you think? I want to know. Email me at 12parsecs.podcast@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. All the links can be found on my website, 12parsecs.podcast.com. Thanks for listening. Utini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsecsPodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsecsPodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsecsPodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsecsPodcast@gmail.com.